can see. Oh no, but you can see. If I'll notice, you might not notice. I'll just keep looking at the screen. Okay, we're gonna hit us up with the introduction. Okay, how am I gonna do this?
What's up, everybody? What's happening?
I feel like I'm just gonna use these as bloopers as well. In between the thing. Okay. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of whatever we're gonna decide to call this podcast. You know what? We'll figure something out. If you have a suggestion for us, leave it in the comments below. Obviously.
If you're watching this, it probably already has a name. So it's
Yeah, it might already have a name, so it might be a little bit awkward, you trying to come up with a name. But for the most part, welcome to Unnamed Podcast until we find name in description below. So, we wanted to start this podcast just, to raise a little bit of awareness for like short films and films. I feel like I go on YouTube a lot and I'm always watching like Fortnite and all that kind of stuff. Not that much like film content. So I thought maybe it'll be a good place to just throw this in. And I mean, there's a lot more that we're planning on doing as well. Yeah.
So basically, why we created this channel is for it to be a platform for young creatives out there and
Yeah.
all creatives, so we
Yeah.
can all come together
Yeah.
and just show the world what we're made of, guys.
Yeah, so pretty much this is Sensation Studios. Welcome.
Welcome.
This is not the full team right now. This is just myself and Kosi. By the way, yeah, I mean, like, we haven't even said our names. My name is Tendo Mukawari. I'm the creative director of Sensation Studios.
I'm Kosi Ngema and I'm the something.
She keeps forgetting, but it's operations manager.
Yeah,
It's operations manager.
that way.
Yeah, so for the most part, we decided to form this thing just to, start making some creative content, posting it. By the way, I'm very bad at speaking, so if it sounds like I'm not saying proper words, it might be the case.
Just understand.
Yeah, just understand that we're not the greatest. But yeah, we just made this channel, to start making films, music videos, every creative content that we can. Just post it, get people working with each other, collaborating with each other. The dream right now is to just like get it going and starting it up. So we're starting it up right now. I just went through the process of registering it as a like official business. Like our government knows that this Sensation Studios is a thing.
We are here.
Like we're here to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like we're here to stay.
Yeah.
Right now, I think we'll just talk or give you a little bit of the hints of things that we're planning on doing soon. So I think we'll start off with the one project. I can't really tell you the full name because we're still it's kind of a secret, but it's not really a secret. I'm doing it with another member in the team. It's gonna be a really cool show. I'll just say that it's
a show.
It's a show. I think it's gonna be like really cool. People are gonna like it, I think. Don't you think?
You guys better like it because.
Okay, don't attack the people. But like for the most part, that's when the time is right, we'll explain a little bit more to you. But for now, yeah, that's all you're gonna know.
Yeah, and we also have a few films coming up soon.
Yeah. So basically, we've got this thing called Operation Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have 4 projects that we're just trying to raise funds for. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to know the project names, the one project, and if any of you are Steven Universe fans out there, like shout out, you understand the naming of the projects. The first project is Project Garnet, the second is Project Amethyst, the third is Project Pearl, and the last one is Project Quartz. So they all have their own little things, and we'll get into them like later on in later episodes. And obviously along the way, you guys are gonna discover like, oh wow, okay, like what's actually happening and all that stuff. But
Okay, so what we're here to do today, though.
Yeah, what we're doing today.
Is we're discussing some of the projects. Well, the projects that we've done
Previously in the past.
Just
Okay, to be very blunt, we're bashing our previous work, so that we have a new slate for the new work that we do, as well.
Yeah.
There's actually a little bit more. There's a film contest happening right now, which we're actually also working on. Those 1-minute films that I told you about. So we're trying to get those up as well. And I think for the most part for this year, that's probably all the content you're gonna see. Because I do want to put some films this year and get some stuff going up. But getting into bashing our films, we're just gonna get right into it. I think we want this to be a very quick episode. Just get people knowing about Sensation Studios, what we're doing. Obviously, we'll have a little bit of a better structure because we're still trying to work out the nitty-gritty things as well. Because we currently have no budget at all. You're currently seeing this shot on the camera that I own with a mic and a few lights and some natural light just seeping in. This is us. This is how we've been doing most of our stuff for the longest time as well. Yeah. So I think we'll start things off with Silent Love. Yeah. So Kosi didn't personally work on this one. I did this with one of my, I don't know how to call it in a professional sense, but she's my friend, Caitlin Tucker. Yeah, we worked on this film together. So there's just a few things that hey, when you start off as a filmmaker, you really think you're good at what you're doing until you really go back and sit down and rewatch it. In no way am I the greatest filmmaker right now. I think we can both agree that we're still learning, right? We're still trying to improve and everything. But for the most part, I think I'm okay. Well, I think I'm okay now.
I think
Yeah.
where you need to be.
Yeah, I'm where I need to be. But Silent Love, man, let me tell you about this thing. So the storyline is a little bit funny to understand because there's this whole concept of when we're doing the story. So what happened was Caitlin sent me a draft of the script and I was like, alright, cool, I'll have a look. And I was like, nah, it's not really working out. At the time, in my thinking, because I thought it was a very big hot shot, you know what I mean? So I was like, nah, it's not working out. Let me rewrite the script for you. So I rewrote the script. So I rewrote it, and it's what it is now. Obviously, everything's on the channel if you want to go watch it. It's part of our previous film. Yeah. But I rewrote the script, and it's just it's the story kind of follows. I even forgot the character's names, but it kind of follows this boy who's in love with this one female character. But the other female character is madly in love with him. So it's this love triangle thing going on.
Unrequited love.
Yeah, you know how it is. For the most part, it's okay. You know what I mean? Considering we're in grade 9 when we made that film. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I feel like I can already see it now. But this is going to be very dark. I'm sorry about that. The sun is very unreliable, guys. So yeah. But for the most part, the storyline was okay, I think. Could have done a lot better to make it funny, but it was we're going for this whole Charlie Chaplin feel, classic film because it's in black and white. The music was what do you think about the music?
I think the music was fitting, but it
was very repetitive. It was just sounded like a Mickey Mouse cartoon, but
Well, yeah, you can clearly see you're trying to go for a Charlie Chaplin vibe, but it just wasn't working, to be honest with you. Yes. But obviously at the time I was like, wow, this is dope. Yeah, but for a grade 9 project.
Yeah, fair enough. So we made it for our film festival at our school. I think it came third place out of all the films, surprisingly, which was nice. A few things that I just didn't like was so I was DOP for that project. And my framing at the time, I had no idea on how to frame back then. I was just grabbing a camera as if you were taking a snap with your phone, and I was just cool, this looks cool, that looks cool as well, and I was just doing that, and I was just going crazy all over the show. I don't know what kind of framing was happening. There's a lot of just if you study a lot of cinematography, you understand a lot of rules were broken. A lot of rules were not followed. It was a mess. But it was a nice mess, I think, at the end. Things did fall together. The conclusion is a little bit funny, in my opinion. Because what actually happens, you remember what happens? Because we just watched the films now, just to recap, so we have all the relevant information to tell you. He falls down.
And then, all of a sudden, all of a Tuesday,
he's back at it. He's
This girl that he was ignoring is suddenly
in love with
girl. No, he's suddenly in love with her, and then obviously it ends with them.
Yeah. We could have done a lot more. We also had a camera only. Let me tell you that right now. All we had was a camera, and we're cool, we're going to shoot. That's all we had. Literally nothing else but a camera. And I think for the most part, I liked how it turned out. Like, obviously you go back and change some things, but like
Yeah.
you don't really have much control once something's put out into the world.
Yeah.
Now you can see that we're not really talking too deeply on these things. So I don't want this to be too long. Just want you to kind of see a flavor of what this is gonna be like
Yeah.
when we start selecting more short films and stuff like that to like look at properly. I'll start breaking them down a little bit more, using a little bit more of the filmmaking jargon. For the most part, it's just like a quick and simple episode. So now let's talk about one where Kosi was a part of, and I think we both love this film. Nah, I don't know. I like it, you know. Hunters.
Hunters. So basically, Hunters is a post-apocalyptic a post-apocalyptic film,
Yeah.
and there are these two survivors, you know, just trying to survive and stuff. But
Yeah.
the thing is, the storyline just
The story was very funny, okay? So, if you do a lot of film writing, you'll understand what stakes are. And the way I played the stakes in the film were very funny because the stakes were raised really high in the beginning and then they were dropped because there was really no you don't really get an understanding of why the main character needs to continue like fighting because essentially once they've run away, you know what I'm saying? Like they've achieved the goal, like they're out of the sticky situation. Why must they go back and fight? Because even the way we painted the location, it was this whole great big world. So like now you know things were just those are things that nitty gritty things that you need to worry about in stories. Like it really needs to make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, but how do you feel like when you're acting? Like that was probably like. Hi there. So our camera cut off. I'm not in focus. Hold on. So our camera cut off mid-sentence. This is another problem, right? What we're trying to fix. We don't have the greatest equipment, so that's gonna happen very often.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that happening, but we'll fix it. But we're talking about mainly just now about Kosi's acting in the thing and how she felt about it. Like, how do you think? How do you feel?
when did we film this again?
We were in grade 9, 2015, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in regards to the acting, I feel like, you know, as people in life, we all progress, and it just
Yeah. It was the starting point, you know, like it was the very base
we
of.
all have to start somewhere.
We all have to start somewhere. So Silent Love and Hunters were pretty much made at the same time. This was like the emergence of Sensation Studios. Like
Yeah.
back then, it was called Optic Sensation Studios. I don't know what I was thinking. It was just a rubbish name, in my opinion. And the intro sequence for every single film, I hate it so much. I'm really gonna revamp it, guys. I'm like, forgive me on that.
This is why we're doing this. You know, we're starting on a clean
This is a clean slate.
Yeah.
We're a clean slate. We're trying to improve. Okay.
Yeah.
But like yeah, the acting. You know what? For a first time performance, it was good. You know, you were acting with Matthew Lamy. Yeah, so he was kind of like at the time in the film department. So at our school we had a film department. So he was kind of like a prominent actor. So I was like, alright, cool.
Yeah.
You act with Kosi because you two, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
It just came to be about. It was yeah.
It was good for that.
For a first time. The
Yeah.
things I can complain about is the grade. It is awfully green. Like it is sickening. It is you'll vomit while you're watching it. You know what? I just didn't know how to grade back then. I had an idea of what grading was, like color grading, like the whole color theory thing wasn't really too well known by me. So I just kind of slapped on kind of like a green filter to kind of give it that mucky feel. And I just let it flow and I was like, it looks good enough.
Shame. I feel like people watching these films though might not. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah,
People
like you
might
don't
not even notice.
you don't notice it
Yeah.
that much, but like when you progress, you'll be like, wow, I really used to do that kind of thing. And that's why I want to start this thing as well. It's kind of like why we're starting the company up as well. It's just like a whole entire instead of learning behind the shadows, which is kind of like I'm in film school, by the way. If
Yeah.
I failed to mention that in film school you're pretty much behind doors when you make your films. You're always making it for your lecturers and your peers. So you don't really, until you kind of reach graduation level, do you really get to put it out, right? where I feel like if you had the opportunity to put it out, even when it's still bad, people will watch and give you feedback on it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's a learning process in its own way. So that's why we wanted to start this thing to kind of. We're not claiming that we're the greatest filmmakers ever.
Yeah.
You and I. You know what I'm
But
saying?
we're trying.
Like we're trying. We're gonna try and make something. We'll try and make something.
Yeah.
Coming back to like Hunters, and one thing that I really was a little bit skeptical about was the fight scenes. So if you watch the fight scenes, some of them some punches look really cool. So I was like, wow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then some moments you're just like cringed. You'll cringe, you'll crawl back into the
Yeah.
crevice that you came from, and you'll be like, oh, why? Like there's one moment where it's like there was this. So if you notice as well, we had the same actor playing two roles, right? Things were tough, we didn't have that many actors. So he kind of like, there was a part where Lani was on top of the actor. His name is Tino, by the way, before people will start saying, you don't know his name. I know his name, guys. Please.
Tina.
It's Tino. So yeah, so he took a metal pole and hit Lani across the head. And it just looks so bad, man. Like, it's one thing that I think broke the film. It literally broke the film, and I was just like, if we had done that better, it might have just tied in together nicely.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just my laptop dying over here, which is great.
For the most part, though, I think you guys did put in a lot of effort into making
We tried to create the world. We tried to create the world. The location, by the way, was amazing.
It was.
I want to go back and film there again. Maybe this time I have a better understanding of how to make films and stuff, so we might make something a little bit better.
I feel like we could have used it better as well.
Yeah, we could have used the location for like narrative purposes better. Like the story, just like there could have been a little bit more that we could have done with it, But even like looking at like the editing, I don't know.
Yeah.
The editing was okay. It could have been a little bit more slick with the cuts, with my cuts and some of the editing choices. It's just like when you're starting off, you obviously don't have all the knowledge, and you just kind of throw yourself inside.
Absolutely.
And you're just trying to work a way around making something that looks decent to show people that they won't like vomit after watching. That was kind of my thought process when I was doing a lot of the films. I was like, yeah, let me try and make something that looks decent and people at least like. For the most part, Hunters is actually it has the most views on the channel, like 1,500 I think right now, which is crazy when you think about it. Like I haven't really done much in promoting the film. Once when I would put it on YouTube, I was like, hey guys, go check it out. And for the most part, those are organic views, which is pretty nice, I think, compared to the rest. So let's move on to the next one. So the cake.
The cake.
And again, Kosi didn't work on this, but his sister did.
Yes.
You probably see the resemblance. So I can only describe this project as experimental, in my opinion. It was quite experimental, I think.
How so?
I was trying to go for like a classic regular show kind of feel,
Yeah.
but keeping it modern at the same time. And it didn't work. I'll say it, but it worked. It worked as its own thing. I think it was funny. It was funny.
It was.
I wanted it to be funny. We had a lot of actors as well. There was a lot of fun making that one as well. That's when we started moving on to getting bigger crews. Because for the most part, I've been a one-man crew in like Silent Love and Hunters. And there was a film I made way back in the day.
I forgot.
Yeah, The Forgotten, that I also did pretty much a one-man show.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. Now I started moving on to trying to get more people to help me and to do stuff. Because obviously, filmmaking is a collaborative process. And that's something that a lot of independent filmmakers almost forget. Because you have to wear a lot of hats. Like, I'm the producer, I'm the writer, I'm the director, you can't do it all. So that's why now starting this company, we're really trying to get everybody into making something.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the cake.
So the cake, man.
The audio in the
I think we have to point out how bad the audio was.
That's just something that's...
Like, I know you're watching this and probably thinking, wow, this guy hates his work. No, I love it. I honestly love it. I love it to death. Like, I'll show it to 1,000 people over and over again. But obviously, when you look back at stuff, you just pick and, like, I'm very harsh when it comes to analyzing, like, creative work and films. But harsh in a way that it makes sense. to what I'm saying, and and I won't obviously like bash you. Like if you were to show me something, I'll give you like proper criticism. I'm bashing myself a lot because I can. You know what I mean? Like I'm hurting myself. Like what can I really do? But if it was somebody else, like you know what I mean? Like the audio was just like it was really bad. So what for the most part what we've been doing is just like on camera mic has been our go-to, but we're trying to get like actual recorders now and proper booms for recording actual audio properly. And like there's no Foley at all. So Foley was a really big thing that I learned along the line. I learned a lot more about filmmaking in my final year of high school, but I didn't make a single film as well, so it was very funny. So I started learning a lot more and not doing. So this is why I'm trying to do more now.
So what's Foley?
Foley is kind of the environment sound, is how I would put it, in almost like a layman's term. It's diegetic sound. If you know what diegetic means, it means the sound in the. So the sound of this pillow, you'd Foley in almost, because you can't guarantee that when someone's recording with the swing, like boom swing, that it's gonna give you the sound that you want. So you kind of go back and record it. Like
also like the birds.
Yeah, also things like the birds and stuff like that. But yeah, it was okay. The camera work was also it was a bit shabby in my opinion. I was trying to make this really fast because we tried to. So this was around the film festival time again. So I wanted to get 2 films out, and this was kind of the second option film. So I was trying to push this out as fast as possible. Like I was like, oh, we have to get this done, guys. You know.
It was pretty rushed.
It was pretty rushed, but
yeah.
like the editing as well. Like you remember the cuts. Yeah.
That's just something I think that shows up in a lot of these films.
Yeah.
It's like editing and.
I mean, I think it's getting a little bit better now.
Yeah.
We recently shot kind of like a test film to just see where we're standing. That is actually part of the projects. It's getting there. I'll just say that.
What do you mean it's getting there?
No.
It's like.
No, like it was a very big jump from where we were. Like from what Singularity is, which is the next one we're gonna speak. From what Singularity was to what we shot this year, like the jump, you could see the jump, the time jump. That okay, things have progressed a little bit better. We're still struggling with equipment, obviously, but you know how to use what you have. You know, for the most part, right now we've got just like I told you, like a few lights. I added like a purple gel over here just to kind of give it a little bit more life. You need to just be creative, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so the acting in the cake as well was just like, we rushed it, I think that's the only way to sum it up. We really rushed the film, trying to make it something that it wasn't going to be, but it was nice, I think. Pillow, one of the actresses, she almost has a very negative feel about the film, but I feel like she still likes it because, you know, whatever, like, come on. Just because, yeah, like it's funny when you watch it. Like the visual effects as well. Like I dabble a lot in visual effects. I didn't talk about this in Hunters, but I dabble a lot in visual effects. I find myself a bit of a visual effects guy. I like it. It's cool stuff. I'm not studying it right now in film school. I'm more studying cinematography and color grading just because that's kind of the things I want to focus on. But yeah, visual effects, I love it as well. And then just the writing.
So moving forward, I feel like, because writing and acting kinda, like it can like tie in together.
Yeah.
And based on like just remembering, I feel like more time could have been spent on writing and also like kind of just prepping like the actors, like them prepping themselves for like a good
another big thing actually what she's saying is very good because like I never used to rehearse with actors until I got to film school. I knew about rehearsing obviously because even in high school we were doing drama, so I knew that before you act you need to rehearse. But when we used to make films we used to just hop in and be like, let's act, you got this kind of thing where you need a lot of preparation for them to get into character, to develop the story as well, because your actors will, like, as a writer director, are very important because they could give story elements that you never think about, and it could change the entire film, and you just be like, wow, imagine we didn't go through rehearsal time. Rehearsal is just a good time to also just like do a test shoot. It was another thing I learned at film school now, that test shooting is very important because it lets you see what you need to change before you get going. You know what I'm saying? Before you start spending million rand on a freaking budget, right? You need to first see what's happening. And there goes the laptop. But I feel like we're doing what to say. It's whatever. But yeah, you know what I'll do for now? Let me stop this so we can restart, just in case it decides to cut in while Singularity, because it's pretty much the last thing we're going to speak about. So this is me telling my future self to put in a cool transition for this awkward moment where I switch this off. Yeah. Okay, we're back after the stopping of everything. Sorry, the lighting's changed again. The sound is just not reliable. But now, just to talk about our last film, and I think we'll go a little bit in depth with this one because we made this one with our hearts. We poured our soul into this one.
A lot.
It was like, it's probably the highest production quality kind of production I want to say that we've done. Because we had a big crew as well. It was something like 15 people. It was crazy. So I was a director solely and writer solely. I didn't touch anything else. I did edit it though and do the visual effects. That's the only thing. But everything else, everybody else was just was helping out, which was pretty cool.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, shout out to everybody that was on the Singularity film set. It was a goodie.
Yeah.
I'd love to work with you guys again, obviously. Yeah. But for the most part, I feel like let's just address the lighting. So the lighting there was really
bad.
It was just not what I wanted it to be. So
why though? Why do you think?
So I wasn't the DOP. I had one of the people in the film department, but also one of my friends, Ross Sinclair, be the DOP. And obviously we both were pretty much at the same level of knowing about cameras and stuff like that, because he was also quite into cameras, just like I was. And he kind of just like, the lighting, we didn't really understand how to get cinematic lighting at that time. So we were just lighting to not make it look dark. But it wasn't working because it's dark. If you watch the film, it is dark. And what makes this worse is the grade. The grade was just dark as well. Man, sometimes it's just a bit difficult, you know what I'm saying? When you don't have the right equipment and all that kind of stuff, you can see it lacks. But at the same time, you don't need the greatest equipment to make the greatest film, you know what I'm saying? Which is very true. But obviously, in that case, we wanted something to happen. Yeah, that's all I can really say. Like, the lighting was just, it let us down a lot. There are often times where you can't even see Kosi's face. And I'm sorry about that. Yeah. I'm very sorry about that, friend.
It's okay.
Yeah, like,
it's okay.
It's all good.
But for the most part, it was really good.
Yeah, I think it was good. Like, how did you feel acting there? Because I gave her a really crazy role this time. Like, this was me tapping into my inner Christopher Nolan, my favorite film director, just a heads up over there. So I was like, let me write something that could challenge people's minds. I was like, how old was I? I was 17 maybe, or 16. In grade 11, I was like, I'm about to write some fire over here. I was like, and I was like, Kosi, here's the next big thing. And she read it, and I remember you were like, oh wow. This is cool.
It was really good.
Yeah, on paper it was good. Until we got into it. And then
on paper it was good.
On paper it was cool, I think. And then we got into it, and then obviously it was just like ish.
I just feel like we could have just done a better job executing it.
Yeah, I think execution is a very big problem right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have these great ideas, but executing is really hard. And that's kind of why we made it a business now instead of it being a YouTube channel. So we have a little bit more professionalism because now we're really trying to, we're saving up money for making films. You know what I mean? Like, so we can go and rent a bit more equipment and lights and stuff like that just to improve production quality, while we're learning to make more films and stuff like that. Because we have a lot of big ideas that we want to pull through, especially next year.
Yeah.
But obviously,
execution
is like the main role. Like, even the audio in the film was just a little bit out of place sometimes. Yeah. This was also about the time where I started learning about film scores. Again, Hans Zimmer is one of my top composers. Him and Nolan are just, it's like, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I mean, we're South African, so that's like not a thing. But like
Jam.
peanut butter and jam sandwich, you know. Wait, what? Yeah, no, yeah. It's like they go together like this. So I just love the score. In fact, last night I watched Interstellar again. It was amazing. Honestly, I just love that kind of work. It's really what I'm trying to strive to get. Yeah. But like I said, at this point in time, I started learning a bit about scoring. So I was really experimenting in terms of like using sound and all that stuff. I'm sure you could hear it as well. Like,
How do you think you did though?
I think it was okay. Now I've got someone actually, one of my friends, Mawande of Vinny Daridi. He goes by his rapper alias. He's learning a little bit of film scoring and all that kind of stuff, just to try and increase our production quality. Because we're trying to like, by this year we're gonna do a few more films on our zero budget, like with whatever we have, and make it as good as possible. And then next year we're gonna just try and pull through with a little bit of a higher standard, which is the plan, obviously. Even this podcast is just gonna increase, because right now I'm pretty sure you're watching this and it's not the greatest in terms of quality wise, because the sun keeps dipping and it's going dark and then whatever.
Basically,
the only person that's really lit is Kosi right now. I can already see, I can feel it. Like, you can see her quite well. Your boy on the other. In fact, let me just try to bring this light a little bit closer. Just for me to get some light in me. Yeah, so obviously we're trying to improve on everything, like every aspect. So yeah. So Singularity, even my visual effects there were a little bit shabby, I think. I was a bit rushed while making the film. In fact, the story of the premiere night, do you remember that?
The what?
The premiere night, do you remember?
Yeah.
It was a bit of a shamble, guys. So I pitched this idea to our drama teacher as this whole big shebang, like, film set, we're gonna have a premiere. It was crazy, right? So we organized the premiere for the film. But what happened on the day, we'll always remember as the darkest day in our company's history, where the film it didn't render properly, so we had to re-render it. And it didn't finish in time for the actual premiering time. And it was just a shamble. I was in tears. It was bad. Like, it was a good learning curve though, obviously, because now I know not to fuck around. Like,
and it's so sad because the turnout was so great. Like, so many people came.
Yeah, and so many people came, man. So many people came. It was a little bit. It was disappointing to an extent, but you know what? It's alright. Yeah. You learn, you live, you continue. I feel like I said that in the wrong order, but whatever. For the most part, I like Singularity. I really wish. Do you think it would be a cool idea? Like one day we just go and remake these films and just make them better.
It could be.
It could be a good idea, just to rewrite it as well, just to make the story a little bit better. Like, just try to improve it. You know, it could work. But yeah, we'll have to see about that in the future. For now, we're working on our films. We're gonna try to release 3 1-minute short films before the end of the year.
That we're also entering into a competition.
Yeah, the competition, you should check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. The film ride competition. Maybe I'll leave a link in the description. I don't know.
Yeah.
You might just verbally, if you've made it this far, thank you as well.
Yeah.
I appreciate that as well. So this is pretty much us signing off. These episodes will be a lot more structured next time, because we'll actually have films that we want to analyze a little bit better. For now, we're just like, let's come together and just talk about something and get people knowing about what we're trying to do over here, you know. Yeah. So just watch the space. We'll obviously keep you updated and all that kind of stuff. I hope you really enjoyed listening to us. This is going to get better. I'll promise you guys that right now. This will get better over some time. Like, we will. So this is me as Tendo Mukari, signing off. Okay, I see what you're saying. I do say my name wrong sometimes. Yeah. She was complaining earlier that I say it wrong. I do say it wrong. Yeah. This is me as Tendo Mukari, signing off.
This is me. This is me as Kosi Ngema, signing off. Thanks for watching.
I'll catch you in the next episode.